Basic computer organization is your first chapter. Computer is an electronic device that can accept input from user in the form of data. Then, according to programs, CPU process the data received from input user and then produces output in the form of information, and finally a user can store that information for its future use. Data is your raw materials or findings which are of limited values. Means first time user provide computer systems data as input. Means for the first time computer system will receive input from user in the form of data which are of raw numbers or findings. Then what this computer system will do, it will convert this data into meaningful information. So information is your processed data which have meaningful and useful context. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages associated with the computer? Advantages: its speed, accuracy, huge storage, versatility and tirelessness. In disadvantages, there are security issues, computer crimes are present, health issues are also related with computers, and it also badly impact your environment if not properly disposed of. Now what are the major functions of computer system? It actually performs these 5 major functions. First of all, taking input from user in the form of data, then storing that data and instructions in memories, process the data stored in memory, generating the output, and fifth one, it will control all the above steps. Now what are the functional components of computer? There are basically 3 parts: input output devices and CPU, that is central processing unit. CPU contains MPU and memory unit. MPU stands for microprocessor unit. Microprocessor unit contains control unit and arithmetical logical unit. So we will discuss one by one what are the workings, what are the features of these components of computer system. First one is central processing unit, CPU. In CPU, MPU contains arithmetic logical unit and control unit. What this arithmetic logical unit will do, it will perform arithmetical and logical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc., and logical operations like and or not. Control unit is related with the management part. It organizes the computer to work as a single unit, and for that it will generate control signals for various devices regarding read, write and execute operations. Now after that there is a memory unit. Memory is used for storage of data and instructions. Now basically memory is just a collection of cells. Each individual cell has its own address which contain information, data, and addresses are of 8 bits. That's why computers are known as byte addressable, because 1 byte is equivalent to 8 bits. For example, suppose this is the cell which contain data 10101010. Total it contains 8 bits. Now address, suppose its address is 11111110. So address is of 8 bits. That's why it is known as byte addressable, because its address is of 8 bit, means 1 byte. Now what are these bit positions? Actually bit positions are just like the indexes of individual characters. So suppose this is your first character 1, it has index value 0. Remember, your bit position will always be 1 less than the content. Suppose if you want to find out the third character, then its index value will be 2. If you want to find out the fifth character, then its index value will be 1 less than 5, so it will be 4. And maximum bit position you can also find out. It will be equivalent to total number of elements present in content, so you can say it as a length of content minus 1. So length of this content is 8 minus 1 is 7, so bit position, maximum bit position will be 7, because it happens because indexing will always start from 0. By default it will start from 0. Now for example, if you want to find out the memory size, suppose you have a computer of total number of words 64k, k stands for kilo, means your computer system has 64 kilowords, then your memory unit has 64 cross 1024, 65,536 total memory locations. Why 65,536 memory locations? Because each individual word will be stored at separate memory location. Each individual word will be stored at a separate memory location, so your memory locations will be equivalent to total number of words present in computer system. That's why you can find out the memory size of computer. And if you want to find out the indexes or addresses of these locations, it will vary from 0 to 65,535, because it will start from 0. That's why it is 1 less than total memory locations. Now next is memory units. There are some of the memory units which you should know. First one is bit. Bit means single digit, either 1 or 0. Its abbreviation is capital B. Nibble is equivalent to 4 bits. 1 byte is equivalent to 8 bits. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 kilobytes. So in this way, if you know the order of these units, then you can find out how many bits are present in 1 gigabyte or 1 terabyte and so on. Suppose you want to find out how many bits are present in 1 gigabyte, then it must be 1024 cross MB. MB stands for kilobyte, so multiply it with 1024, then again multiply it with 1024, then again multiply it with 8 bits, because 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So what should be your result? 1024 cross 1024 cross 1024 cross 8. This much amount of bit you need if you want to create a memory unit 1 gigabyte. And these are the abbreviations. 1 gigabytes, you can write it as a 1 GB, both in capital letters. One more thing, if you write capital G small b, then it is equivalent to gigabit, BIT, bit. Small b means bit and capital B means byte. After that, we will discuss one by one different types of memory. Now first memory is cache. After that there is a primary memory, you can also call it as a main memory, then secondary memory. What is cache memory? See from this picture, from this image, cache memory is present between CPU and primary memory. So cache memory acts as a buffer between CPU and primary memory. What is the role of this cache memory? Suppose in primary memory you have 100 instructions, but your CPU frequently uses only 10 instructions out of 100 instructions. So these frequently used 10 instructions will be stored in cache memory, and CPU now can access these 10 instructions from cache memory instead of primary memory. So what is the benefit of this? What is the benefit of this is that CPU now access it from cache memory, and its access time is less as compared to access time to fetch the data from primary memory. Let me again repeat. CPU fetch data from cache memory, and its access time for fetching the data from cache memory is less as compared to fetching the same data from primary memory. So that's why execution speed of CPU increases, access time to fetch the data decreases, and execution time of CPU increases. That's why you use cache memory. And storage space for cache memory is less as compared to primary memory and also from secondary memory. So this is your cache memory and use of role of cache memory. Now see the advantages and disadvantages associated with cache memory. Cache memory is faster than main memory. It consumes less access time. Explained. It stores the programs that are executed within a short period of time. Means it will store the programs or instructions or data that are used most frequently. It stores data for temporary use. Disadvantages: it has limited capacity and it is very expensive memory. So these are the disadvantages. Now move on to the primary memory. Also you can say this as a main memory. Primary memory also holds the data and instructions on which the computer system is currently working. It has also limited capacity but more than cache memory. And one more feature is its nature is volatile. Volatile means your data is lost when the power is switched off, and it is generally made up of semiconductors. And further, memory is divided into two subcategories, RAM and ROM. Now we will see the differences between RAM, random access memory, ROM, read-only memory. RAM is used for both reading and writing, but you can only read data from ROM. Now this store the data to be currently processed, and ROM is required during the booting process of computer. Volatile, I have explained. RAM is volatile because because your data is lost when the power is switched off. ROM is a non-volatile memory, means the data present in ROM will remain intact when the power is switched off. Your data will not be lost. Now RAM stands for random access memory, ROM stands for read-only memory. Next one is data in RAM can be modified, but in ROM it can't be. Now RAM are available in sizes of 64 MB to 8 GB, whereas ROM is smaller as compared to RAM. RAM is most costlier, whereas ROM is cheaper as compared to RAM. Now further, there are two types of RAM, static RAM and dynamic RAM. Similarly, there are different types of ROM available like PROM, EPROM, EEPROM. Now we will see the two different types of RAM, static and dynamic. See the features of static RAM and dynamic RAM. In terms of speed, static RAM is faster as compared to dynamic. In terms of size, static RAM is smaller as compared to dynamic. In terms of cost, static RAM is expensive as compared to dynamic one. And uses, you can use static RAM in cache memory, and you have to use dynamic RAM. You generally use dynamic RAM for main memory. Density, according to density feature, static RAM is less dense as compared to dynamic one. Construction, static RAMs are more complex because it uses transistors, and whereas dynamic RAM basically use capacitors. Now there are 6 transistors and only one transistor can be present in dynamic one. Now charge leakage property. What this property is, in case of static RAM there is no charge leakage, but in case of dynamic RAM it is present up to some level. That's why it require power refresh circuitry which charges the dynamic RAM again. In terms of power consumption, static RAM is low as compared to dynamic one. Now similarly there are different types of ROM. AMROM stands for masked ROM. These are hardwired devices, means that contain already predefined programmed set of data and instructions, and you can change its programming. Programmable PROM stands for programmable read-only memory. This allows the buyer a blank PROM, and now a buyer or you can say user can program. Remember, it can only be programmed at once. After that it is not erasable. Inside PROM there are small fuses which are burned open during programming. EPROM stands for erasable and programmable read-only memory, in which beside programming facility there is also a facility of erasing previous program. It means you can erase the program by exposing it to ultraviolet light. By using ultraviolet light you can erase the previous program, and then you can again reprogram your EPROM. The charge is retained for more than 10 years because the charge has no leakage path. Now next one is EEPROM. EEPROM stands for electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. In this there is also the same feature as available in case of EPROM, programming and erasing facility available, but for erasing you have to use electricity, whereas in case of EPROM you have to use ultraviolet light. So this is the difference between EPROM and EEPROM, that EEPROM uses electricity for erasing previous program, whereas EPROM uses ultraviolet light for erasing the contents present in EPROM. Now there is another memory, secondary memory. You can also call it as the external memory. This memory is slower as compared to main memory, which store data and information permanently, and its another feature is that it is non-volatile. And one more thing, CPU does not directly access these type of secondary memories. Instead they are accessed via input output routine. For example, tape, disk, CD-ROM, DVDs, pen drives. So these all are the secondary memories. Magnetic tape is known as mass auxiliary storage device, and this is the structure of magnetic tape. Hard disks are also known as fixed head HDD, or you can say movable head HDD. The image, it is just the stacked disk. See the structure. This is the main image of hard disk when you purchase from market. In every disk, see the ring type structures. These are known as tracks. In hard disk, the data will be recorded on these tracks electromagnetically. So basically what is hard disk? It is just the set of stacked data, and each disk contains tracks on which data will be recorded electromagnetically. Now you see there are 4 different types of drive. Now see the 4 different types of drives. First one is PATA, Parallel Advanced Technology Attachment. SATA stands for serial ATA. then it's SCSI, small computer system interface, then SSD, solid state drives. Up to 12 TB terabyte sized hard disks are available in market. Now another one is compact disk read only memory, CD-ROM. See the image of a CD-ROM. Just like hard disks, data will be stored on spiral tracks in CD as bits, PITs bits. Bits are just the series of mint grooves, and the area present between bits are known as lands. See here, the recorded area and unrecorded area has been shown in this image. And for reading purpose, there are sensors available which uses light reflections, or you can say laser reflections. Process of writing the data on CD is known as burning process. So if I say I want to write the data on CD, so it means I will so in computer language what I will say I have to burn that data on CD. For burning process, there is a CD burner available which write the data, or you can say which burn the data on CD. Now third one is DVD. DVD stands for digital versatile disc or digital video disc. DVD-ROM, read only memory. It is also just like CD, but it has the capacity of storing more data as compared to CD. DVD-ROM drives that utilize these discs were first sold in 1997. Its working is similar to CD but store data densely due to its faster speed. Now there are differing capabilities available. One of the most common DVDs is single-sided single-layered disc, which is capable of holding 4.7 GB data. Another one is single-sided double-layered disc, which is capable of holding between 8.5 to 8.7 GB data. Double-sided single-layered disc, which is capable of holding 9.4 GB data, and double-sided double-layered disc also, which is capable of holding 17.7008 GB data. After that, there are pen drives and flash drives available as a secondary storage device. Shape is just like a pen with built-in data storage capability. These pen drives that connects with computer by a USB port. It is based on old EEPROM technology, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory technology it uses that allows writing and erasing processes. When pen drive is connected to USB port, it activates, otherwise it lies in dormant. So whenever you insert a pen drive in computer system, then only it activates, otherwise it will remain inactive. Market, there are 64 MB to 128 GB pen drives are available, and all of these pen drives are removable and rewritable. So nowadays everyone who uses pen drives or flash drives as a secondary storage device. So this is all about your memory, in which we have discussed cache memory, primary memory and secondary memory along with its different types. Thank you.